You've returned.
Maybe she's got a few more tricks up her sleeve than you thought.
Let me see. Good. These are fine specimens. There will be plenty. If we extract the juices and apply them to the body of the instrument, it should awaken from its present slumber. Yes, there it is. That familiar feeling. It's awoken. Come, try it for yourself. It's all yours. Can a poet not be forthright in expression? Then, let me rephrase. This instrument is my gift unto you. I came back to Liyue to listen to what this region of the world has to say. In these vast and ancient lands watched over by the Geo-Archon, there are countless soft voices to be heard. This gives me all the satisfaction I desire. Of course, should there come a day when you wish to part with this instrument, I will come to collect it. But I hope that day will never come. Well, my onward journey beckons. What is the customary Liyue saying at moments like this? Ah, yes. We will meet again.
Huge. Okay, now what? Platycarpus could be the aquatic in that one trailer, or that like one clip of the Jurassic World Evolution 2. It's not too far out of the line, and I think it's about the right size too. About the right size. He's kind of small. I'd say like maybe great white, or slightly bigger than a great white. Around that size. Oh yeah. Can I get my account? Nope, we got a winner. Can I? I can. I mean, if it's gonna be another pyro character, he's probably gonna be my next character.
Power what lot?
Yeah, I'll probably never fucking... I'll put it on pause for a little bit. I'm kind of tired of fighting that ice cube. It's fucking cancer. Not as cancer as the pyro cube, but still. Sure. I'm starting to panic now. Is that good? Hold on, I need to raise my volume. I want to like actually listen to the music as I'm doing it. Oh shit, fuck. Huge. Alright. Alright, here we go. Shit. God damn it. Boo, I'm trying that again. I'm doing that again. That's dumb. Oh, no. No, I'm getting that Duclium shit. Okay. God damn it. Retry, fuck that. Did I get it? Woo! Yeah, baby! Let's go! Oh, fuck that. I'm not doing that again. Oh, look at that timing. Free loot. Look at that. Okay, now what? Where's the next location? Alright, so you got... Really? This shit again? Dude, I don't like it. It just slows things down. Oh, fuck. No farming. Can I at least get the story shut real quick? Ooh, let's claim that real quick. Sure. I don't personally care about the other stories. I only cared about Noelle, and that's it, so.
He had it coming. Years of mistreatment and torment will bring anyone to breaking point. But if she doesn't like the truth, maybe she needs to question her actions instead of going after everyone else. What she said was incredibly tacky, and she was expecting you to brush it off like normal. Instead, you bit back. The fact that your family are agreeing with you says it all too. Don't feel bad. You finally had enough, and I doubt she will try much again. Please call CPS on her. Yeah, she's not acting in a way that is safe or healthy for anyone around her. Not a-hole in any sense, but please take the necessary, yet frustrating.
Haven't seen Toma in a while.
Action to rectify
Who
this
knows
messy
what that guy's
situation.
working on these
Thank you,
days?
Opie, for having the heart and moral fortitude.
Probably something of the utmost.
We have people like also.
Oh, well, no wonder. What do you think Miss Kamisato even sees in that guy?
Sorry, haven't slept too well the last couple of days, on account of all this rain we've been having. Wait, what are you all doing here? Has something happened?
We were just having a little chat on our break. It's time we were going. There's still lots to do. We're busy people, Toma. You do well to grow a sense of urgency, too.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. I'll think about that when my vacation's over. Sorry I'm a little late. Something came up. Yep, I sure did. No big deal, though. People like to criticize those who don't fit in. It's the same everywhere. If a little private gossiping helps them let off some steam, well, good for them. It does no harm to the Kamisato clan. Wouldn't you agree?
Dude, this guy's so positive, I love him.
Exactly. Or live and let live, as they say. Today, it's time for a hard-earned rest. There's been so much to deal with since I got out of Komori Tea House. Oh man, this vacation's been a long time coming. There's too much going on here. Let's find somewhere more peaceful to discuss the plan for the day. You're still my guest after all, and I'd like to hear your ideas.
Hold on, I'm curious. Sorry for stalling. but I'm actually really... I have a lot of shit to do, and I forgot all about it. But I think I already used these, but I can't remember. So... Six, 8, no, not 7. Okay, so that's pretty useless. Okay. I'll check another. Okay. Wait, I had money on this? I'll just put that on my Genshin Impact account. This one's pretty empty. Oh, I didn't realize I had this one. Okay. Yeah, alright. False alarm. Could have sworn I had another one just lying around with a 50 on it.
I keep thinking, since I'm the host here, but despite that, So, what do you usually prefer? Indoor? You want to go out for a stroll? Perfect. I have a couple of places I was going to recommend. If you like cats and dogs, there's a great place I can take you. I go there pretty much every time I have a day off. You can't help but be in a good mood when you're surrounded by cute animals. Feeling that, we could go downtown if you'd prefer. Narukami Island will be packed right now, so we could go to Rito instead. Back to where we first met. I haven't been there in a long time, actually. Which one are you feeling? It's up to you.
Fuck it, let's go to Rito.
I had a feeling you'd pick that one. Nice to know we share the same interests. There's a sakura tree in Hanamizaka where I go to feed them. Let's meet there in a short while. I need to grab a few.
Holy shit, that's far. I hardly have to make like long strides on these hangouts. That's cool.
Ha!
Ooh, loot. Let's go.
Shine down!
This is a pretty good spot, right? There are tons of stray cats and dogs here at the outskirts. Every time I come to Komori Tea House, I bring some food for them. It just sort of became a tradition over time. At first, it was a bit of a chore, but the more time I spent with them, the more I came to enjoy it. You think so? Well, feed them enough times and I'm sure you'll win their affection too. Not only that, you'll also start to feel that they're your responsibility. Whenever you have any free time, you'll find yourself desperate to come and visit them. Why don't you try feeding them? I brought some of their favorite food just so you could get into their good graces. Don't worry, I've trained them to not be aggressive toward humans. They'll still run away if they find someone threatening, but I'm pretty sure they'll like you. You're an approachable person, and they can tell. Animals are very sensitive to these things.
I guess.
Just me.
Well, that didn't take long. Look at that! Best buds already. Some of the dogs are even showing their bellies. That's a sign that they really trust you. Well, you'll rarely see Tarumaru roll onto his back, though. He's a ninja dog, so he's always on guard in case an enemy approaches. Speaking of ninja dogs, I actually saw one the other day on the beach north of Konda Village. Well, that's the thing. They rarely go off on their own. Usually they stick with their human ninja partners. After retiring, most ninja dogs are taken in by their partner, or sometimes someone else in the Yashiro Commission will take them in. It's extremely rare to find them on their own in the wild, so it makes me a little concerned. Believe me, I wanted to bring it back to the Yashiro Commission, but it wouldn't let me. I tried establishing some trust by petting it on the head, but it gave me a nasty bite. Still, I don't want to give up on it. Nobody really goes out that way, and I don't know what it would have to eat out there. That would be great. Even though it's not the most approachable dog, I still want to give it another try. It seems to sit in the same spot on the beach all day, only moving to take a few paces back when the tide comes in. Last time I saw it, its fur was soaking wet. Ultimately, bringing it back to the Yashiro Commission is going to be a lot better for it than leaving it sitting out in the elements all day. Or, we could even bring it back to Komori Tea House to make friends with Tarumaru. Well, let's see if we even get that far.
Man, what a Chad. Cheating on a cheater. True champion. I think he's either he's trying too hard. Like he's trying to milk it, I guess. Nothing against Gaming Beaver, but I think he's milking it a bit much. Like I get the hype between for the Rustical Devolution 2, but feels like he's a little bit milky about it.
With Data Camp, you don't need to download Python to learn Python. You can learn right in your browser with hand.
Get the hell out of here.
Don't forget to subscribe for daily best Reddit stories. Me, 25F, with my fiancé, 25 meters, together 5 years. I've cheated and I'm not sure how to handle his response. I understand that what I did was wrong. I don't deny that or try to excuse it in any way. I feel horrible about it and I will do anything that I can to make this right. So while I understand calling me names is fair game, I am really looking for advice on what to
see
do
it?
from here.
It's that one, just
Very
up
early
ahead.
on in our relationship,
Judging by the breed
6
and
weeks to be
apparel, it
exact,
definitely
I went
is a
on trip
ninja
to
dog
visit
from
my
the
sister
Shimatsu
at her
bond.
school. The
It's looking a
second night
little
there,
more
we attended a
docile
huge
today.
party and I
Shall
was
we try and
dancing
get closer?
drinking and one guy in particular kept hitting
You should
on me,
stay
and
a
as the
few
night
paces
wore on, I
behind me.
started flirting
I know
back.
it looks
I
calm,
make
but
no
if it gets
excuses.
riled up,
I was
it
drinking,
could
but was
pounce and
not
bite
drunk.
in an
He
instant.
did not rape or take advantage of me. I just made a horrible judgment call and I
And
ended
he's
up
dead.
going with him back to his room.
Here, doggy. Good doggy. You hungry, my friend? I brought you a nice little snack. Oh, you're a vicious little thing, aren't you? You almost bit me again. Look at you, wasting away. You must want to eat a little something. You don't have to come back with us, but come on. A dog's gotta eat, right? You're not worried it's poisoned, are you? Here, I'll take the first bite. See? Delicious and poison-free. Come on, just have a bite. A little tiny bite. And then I'll leave you alone. How's that sound? Looks like it has zero intention of eating the food we brought. Is it just me, or does it look kind of on edge? Maybe it's something in the sea, or something nearby that's got him on alert. You think he was attacked by monsters? It's possible. People do tend to lose their appetite in dangerous situations. Maybe it's the same for dogs, too. Let's clear out the area on behalf of our canine companion here. Thanks for helping out. This place should be a little more tranquil now.
Eye for an eye. Illusion shot. Boom! Rack and ruin. Motion to compel. Shine down.
Oh, there's more. Oh, hello.
Boom boom. Motion to compel. There is no escape. Eye for an eye.
I get levels XP from killing them, to be honest.
Oh, here, doggy. Look, no more danger. You've gotta want to eat a little something now. Come on, eat up. Then let's get you back to Komori Tea House. Whatever's on your mind, you can tell me and Tarumaru all about it. Rejected again. And there I was thinking that I was the one it didn't like. I didn't expect it to be so on edge around you too. Well, to me this proves that it simply doesn't want to leave this place. For now, let's not force it. time to head back to the Yashiro Commission headquarters. I'll see if I can find its owner, so they can come and collect it. That's right. The Shumatsuban only answer to the Yashiro Commissioner, Kamisato Ayato. Under most circumstances, no one else has the authority to inquire into their business. However, I was talking to Commissioner Ayato a while back, and he agreed to let me bend the rules in exceptional circumstances. That doesn't mean I can mobilize the Shumatsuban to do my bidding, of course, but I'll be able to get the intel we need, no problem. It's sort of a prerogative I have. Oh, alright, there's a good dog. Calm down. We're not gonna take you away. It's much safer here now, see? We're gonna leave now. Make sure to give yourself a good rest. Alright, let's go.
Just eat it. Like, there's a pimple on my side. It's in such a weird spot. Ow. Like, I forgot to take my math placement. Like, it's a series of four segments of math shit. And it's like, I forgot a lot of it. I haven't been in algebra for a fucking year. Not even a year, like 2 years. What are they talking about now? Minecraft? No, they're complaining about the biomes. Low-key, I think a swamp would have been cooler than a fucking savanna. Just saying. Savannah's fucking boring.
I shall protect the lady of the...
And he could have, like, literally, replicated it with,
More
like,
speed.
desert. It's kind of close to a desert.
This ninja dog you speak of, it rings a bell. Could I trouble you to describe it again for me?
A red Shiba with the scar in its eye, dressed in black stealth wear.
Oh, I think I know. You must be talking about Inu Shosho. That's right. I'm really surprised that's where you found him.
Perfect. Now that we've figured out his identity, we can get his owner to go and collect it. I should add, it's never good to have dogs run away like this. The poor thing's out there all on his own with no real food or shelter day and night. So, shall we go find the owner and see if they have time to fetch him?
I'm sorry, that won't be possible.
Why?
I'm afraid I can't disclose the owner's identity. What I can tell you is they went out to sea on a dangerous mission and he won't be coming back. I had no idea that he hadn't taken Inu Shosho along with him. Seems he decided to face this one alone. I can only assume that Inu Shosho is waiting for his owner to come back, which is why he refuses to move from the beach.
Did Inu Shosho's owner leave anything behind? You know, any personal items or a Shumatsuban uniform, perhaps?
Most of his possessions disappeared along with the man himself. The only thing I can think of is the kunai he used to train with. Come with me. I'll see if I can find it for you. Ah, yes, this looks like the one. The reason this kunai stands out in my memory is because when he first joined the Shumatsuban, he trained at it harder than anyone else, to the point where the tip became blunt from erosion. Take it. The Shumatsuban will make sure to cover Inu Shosho's daily expenses.
Thank you kindly. Let's just hope Inu Shosho remembers the sense of this kunai. Then again, I'm certain he will. Let's go pay Inu Shosho another visit.
Flowers for the young lady.
Magus. Right.
You want to learn some Favonia's blade work? All right then, I'll teach you. Oh yes, I'll teach you all right. Mark my words. Aristocratic etiquette is all just for show. Just smile and nod along. I was forced to learn all of the rules by heart, but even I don't...
I knew the moment it started it was wrong and I ended up crying while I was laying there. I got up and left as soon as he was done. To this day I don't even know his last name. My sister was so wasted she went home with a friend and never knew I didn't spend the night at her place as I was there before she got home. I went back home and was just guilt-ridden, and although I knew it would cost me my new boyfriend at the time, I was going to tell him and beg him to forgive me. When I see him the next day he is already very depressed. He did not get the job offer he thought he was going to get and he was very down. I decided that I didn't want to add to his depression, so I spent the entire day trying to cheer him up and be a comfort
I know.
for him.
How come this strange man suddenly knows your name? You're waiting for your master to come home. Don't worry, we're not looking to suddenly whisk you away.
Yes, I know it was wrong both times, but I was young, immature, and scared. After those 2 times we were getting along so well that I just put it in my head that nobody other than myself and the other guy even knew it happened,
wasn't
so
for
I
us to
ruined
take
a
him
great
away,
thing when I knew
but
I
for
would
us to
never do it
accompany
again
him.
and I would never see or hear from this other guy.
You know,
Flash
I
forward
sometimes
to 2
did this
months ago.
too when
We
I
have been
first arrived in
together for years now,
Inazuma.
and in fact, we have
I
been
just
together
stood on the beach,
Let's
looking
talk
out at the
about therapy.
horizon.
You know, as a guy, mental
Everyone
health is
has
always
people
just
and
brushed
events
off.
from their
Why?
past
We all know
that
it's
they
a
look
serious
back on
topic.
fondly.
longer than
I
any of our
guess we only
friends have
grow
been with
when we
their
realize
SOs.
that
We love each other and
many
we
of the
live together.
but
He
from
asked me to
today
marry him.
onward,
I
we
was
will join
overjoyed
you
and
in
of course
honoring
said
his
yes.
memory.
We told our family and our friends and everyone was happy for us.
I think that means
But 2 days after
maybe
he
we
asked
could build
me,
a
I
little
become
kennel for
overwhelmed
him.
by guilt.
In the
I
long
called
term,
into
being
work
out in the
because I
cold
couldn't
and wet like
function
this
and
could
spent the
start to
entire
cause
morning
joint
sitting on the
problems.
couch crying.
I could
was a
make some
liar
winter
and a cheat, and
clothes
I
for
had
him
tricked my
too.
boyfriend into
In fact,
proposing
I'd
when
better
in
get
fact,
started.
If he knew about it from the start, he would have
Just make
probably
him
broken
a
up
shelter,
with me.
to be honest.
I decided I could not live the rest of my life like that and determined that when he came home I had to tell him no matter what his mood was. The other part of this that is important is that I am his first and only sexual partner. He knew that I had been with one other guy before we got together, but that never bothered him, or so I thought. He comes home and immediately sees that I'm a mess and asks what's wrong. I tell him and he is understandably very upset, very emotional. I tell him that I will do anything to prove to him that I have never done anything like that since, nor will I ever do anything like that in the future. I offer to let him go through my tablet, phone, Facebook, anything, and he says that it won't be necessary because he doesn't want us to live like that. He said that he wanted some time to himself to think and said he would sleep on the couch. I told him that I would give him all the time he wanted or needed, but that I would be the one sleeping on the couch, not him. The next morning he is quiet but does not show any bitterness towards me. I just asked if he was okay as I didn't want to pry into his thoughts. He told me that of course he was hurt and upset. He said the hardest thing for him was the time frame because he doesn't know if being upset is justifiable or silly at this length of time. I told him he was certainly justified to be upset and we both went to work.
I condemn you!
A week goes by and he seems to get a little
Illusion
better every day,
shattered!
to the point that we both went out to have a somewhat celebration dinner for our engagement with one of his friends. Everything was fine until Wednesday when he tells me he will be back very late from work. This doesn't bother me at all because this can be a somewhat normal occurrence. When they start on one project they can't stop until it is completed, and there have been times it's taken 16 hours to do. So I spend the evening catching up on some work I was behind on. Watched a movie I knew he wouldn't want to watch and then went to bed. I woke up the next morning and he still wasn't there. I texted him and asked him where he was. He just replied with "I'm on my way home." We pass each other on the street as I had to get to work. I call him and he just says that he was longer than expected and was going home for some sleep. Okay, this isn't normal, but he did give me a heads up and he wasn't acting weird or suspicious, so I just went about my day. I come home and he is sitting in the living room waiting on me. Long story short, he told me that he spent last night with Tracy, a married woman from his work. I just collapsed in the chair. He then goes on to tell me that this was a one-time thing and that she is in an open marriage and he has no feelings for her and she has none for him. But he said that he felt completely paralyzed with anger and envy about me not only having slept with this other guy but over my previous relationship as well. He said he knew he was wrong, but he just felt like he had to be with someone else just once so he wouldn't feel so insecure about me being with other guys, and he had only been with me. I started crying of course and then got pissed and started yelling at him. Then he stops me and says, "Why am I yelling at him? I cheated first, and when he found out about it he never yelled at me," which is true, he didn't. He says he regrets the action, really regrets feeling like he cheapened himself in the process, but that while he is sorry it has hurt me, he says that even though it was wrong and he knows it was wrong, he said he's sorry but felt like it was something he had to do. Now he wants us to move on like nothing happened. I have no idea what to do from here. I would be the world's biggest hypocrite if I left him, but I'm so hurt that I just don't know
I would
how we go forward.
literally forgive him.
This has been a
because
very rough week.
I
In
was
fact,
deserving
this has
of
pretty
it.
much
You would be
ruined what is
deserving of
normally
it.
my favorite time of the year. Several
You may have
PM'd me asking me
apologized,
to
but that doesn't
update.
erase
I
it
have
all
just been
suddenly.
kind of in a haze and honestly didn't know what to type. I'll start off with this. We are still together. We have agreed to postpone telling people when our wedding will be, but for now we are still together and still engaged to be married. He has agreed to go with me to couples counseling. We can't get until the end of next month, but we have it set up to go and his insurance will cover his portion of the bill and I'm still checking on mine, but we can pay out of pocket if necessary. We have had several long conversations that have involved lots of crying, mostly me, and one full-fledged mental breakdown by him. I'm not going to lie, after posting this the last time some people were saying they thought she was fictional and he was only saying he did this, so during one of our conversations I finally got the courage to just ask him if he was just saying this to make me feel bad. Sadly, he continued to claim that this happened and how bad he feels about it. I'll also just go ahead and admit this now as well. I snooped. I went to his workplace and started looking for her. I've been there many times before, so security didn't even pay me a second thought. I found her and really truly wish I had not. She is everything I am not. She is tall, big blonde hair and extremely pretty. As though my self-esteem wasn't already in the toilet, this pretty much put a fork in me. I never spoke to her and I've never told him I've seen her, but the thought of her and him working together every day was making me lose my mind. I know how much he likes sex and I can only imagine if she is really available to him he will go back for seconds. But this leads me to another part of my update. I honestly believe he is very emotionally hurt by what he has done. He loves sex, but he is also very uptight about it as well, if that makes any sense. He has told me on more than one occasion how he feels like he has betrayed not just me but himself by doing this. He said that the entire time was very weird to him initially but very upsetting to him ultimately, because he said just going through the act without any emotional ties to the act was unsettling for him and that he didn't really enjoy it. I'm calling BS on this BTW. I've seen her, he doesn't know that, and I can tell you he would enjoy that. I've unloaded on him a few times, probably unfairly on a couple of times, but I got so mad one night I smacked him. I immediately begged him to forgive me because I knew immediately that it was wrong. He still has never yelled at me or even raised his voice. But his full meltdown did reveal that he truly feels betrayed. Sadly, he remembers the weekend that my cheating occurred in great detail because he had asked me to attend a family function with him and I had already planned to go to my sister's so I could. He put two and two together and determined that I was having sex when he was miserable and had asked me to be with him. Basically, we have both hurt each other badly, but we both still want to be together, so we are going to try and make this work. I also asked him again why he did what he did. Well, actually I've asked him that several times, and he is firm that he did it to ease his own pain. He said that it wasn't just done to spite me or to get even, but he said he won't deny that maybe somewhere along the way he did consider it. The ultimate update to that is this: he has told me he is going to leave his job. He said he does not feel right walking into work and seeing her and both of them acting like nothing ever happened. I did not ask him to do this, and once again he doesn't even know that I have seen her. Honestly, I am relieved about that part. Do I think he did it to spite me? Honestly, yes, I think there is a part of it in there, but in talking with him, and we've talked for hours on the subject, I just really get the feeling that he thought it would make him feel better, but it didn't. He now feels like he has to deal with the pain of being a cheater on top being trying to deal with the idea of being cheated on. I'm far more emotional than he is, but I can tell you from knowing him for so long that he is a mess emotionally. He is just trying to cope differently than I am. I wish I had a more definitive update for you guys or something more juicy, but this is where we are. We both hurt, we both want to keep trying, and we both are trying our best to heal ourselves while trying to heal each other. Oh, I know it was probably a snotty thing to do, but I demanded that he get tested for STIs and he did.
It's actually
Came back
smart.
clean. I know that was humiliating for him, but I just felt like I needed that for my peace of mind. Also, we had sex for the first time since all of this last night. Very intense. Not the usual loving emotions from either of us with it at first, but he stopped and we eventually ended back into a more romantic state soon after. One day at a time, I guess. Honestly, things have been much better since my last update. We have had several long, honest conversations with each other, and we are both very committed to staying together, and I can honestly say that we love each other. I truly believe he loves me, and I know for a fact I still love him. After my last update, I had to take a long, hard look at myself because so many people were rightfully chastising me about hitting him. I have to agree with several of the commenters that if the roles had been reversed, that I probably would have thought it was abuse. Well, it was no different for me. I was abusive, and it's very hard to come to terms with that. I wrote him a 4-page letter telling him how sorry I was. I offered to go to the police and turn myself in, but he said that was stupid. He said that he didn't even think about it because in his words I barely tapped him. That does not make it right. I was wrong and I make no excuses. It is just as wrong for a woman to hit a man as it is a man to hit a woman. So I apologized to him, and now I apologize to all of you that read it and were offended. You were right to be offended, and I am sorry for my actions. I let my emotions take me to a place that I should never have allowed them to. It looks like my insurance may not come through for our therapy, but I am going to pay my part out of pocket. He is going to stay at his job but take a transfer to another office across town. This was a good compromise because he can still maintain his benefits and seniority at his job. But he will no longer work in the same building as her. The only hiccup that has occurred was when we were talking about my indiscretion from years ago. He wanted to know who it was, and once I finally convinced him that I had no idea who he was or how to get a hold of him, he got upset about me hooking up with someone I didn't know. But that quickly passed, and he said that it was dumb to be upset about it. He is doing better about the whole thing. I am trying really hard myself. I don't know which is worse. In his mind, having to make up what the other guy looked like, or in my case actually knowing what she looks like. However, we haven't even spoken about it the past 2 nights, so I don't know if this is good or bad, to be honest with you. Anyway, sorry that there isn't anything really juicy to report to you, but ultimately I think we will be okay with each other, and we both are trying really hard to make this work. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to check out the playlist for more videos. Don't forget to subscribe for daily best Reddit stories. Busted wife cheating. I'm at a complete loss. I don't know what to do. There were signs, and I overlooked them. I was blinded by love and never imagined this would happen to me. Not with her, my wife and best friend of nearly 20 years. I work out of town and wasn't supposed to be back until tonight. We were supposed to leave for a 2-week road trip tomorrow. Things were slow at work, so I came home yesterday afternoon. This trip was to give us a little alone time since we've been so busy with family and friends this summer. When I got home, there was a truck in my driveway that I didn't recognize. My neighbor just recently asked me how I liked the new truck, but I thought he was mistaken and didn't think much of it. As soon as I could see the truck, I got a terrible gut feeling. I loved my wife and trusted her completely, but that feeling was there and strong. I snuck around the side of the house to our bedroom window. It was open and I could hear them as I got close. I looked in the window and my worst fear was confirmed. They were right there, completely naked, on my bed. I walked away. I have been fighting the urge to do something that I know I will regret. I'm struggling to care what happens to me at this point. I went to my family's cabin for the night and drank everything there. Today I was on my way home to confront her and decided against it. I'm not ready. All I can feel is anger. All I can think about is violence. I'm not in a good place right now. Not good enough to see her. I'm back at the cabin right now. I have a 60 ounces of rum, and have been staring at it for an hour. I want to get drunk and forget this, but I don't want to get drunk and make bad decisions.
I need health.
I know this is a critical moment in my life, and my actions in the coming days will dictate the rest of my life. That's why I'm here. I need help. I'm not ready to speak to family or friends, so I am reaching out to strangers. Fuck this world. Edit. I want to say thank you to the many great people reaching out. I'm not ready to talk just yet, but I appreciate the messages and the offers. I just want to read the great advice I've been given while I continue working out how to move forward. 2. Redacted, sending me disgusting cowardly PMs mocking me and saying my wife enjoyed it. You need help, more than me. You just aren't bright enough to realize it. I have decided to not drink the rum, but it's staying close by for now. I called my brother who is on his way and should be here in the next couple of hours. My wife just sent me a text saying she loves me and can't wait to go on our vacation. I haven't responded yet. I'm a little calmer after writing this. Listening to the great comments and private messages, and briefly speaking to my brother has been helping. To the person who sent me the link to the suicide line, thank you. I am not suicidal, just not caring to the point of being probably too reckless. The amount of support and advice I've received is unbelievable. I actually got choked up just realizing how many great people there are out there willing to help a stranger. It gives me a bit of hope for the world at a moment when I needed it most. The downside to all of this support is that I am struggling to respond to people. I have over 600 private messages unread and several hundred comments unread. I want to say thank you to everyone individually, and I am going to make an effort to do that. But it won't be quick, so I will just start by giving a big thank you to everyone for your kind messages and helpful advice. It really means a lot to me. I have noticed several comments and questions that keep popping up and wanted to provide clarity in addition to my minor update. If you can't tell, I am feeling a lot better today. The pain almost completely went away. I still feel like I've been punched in the gut, but otherwise I have begun looking to the future. It has been 2 days, so this doesn't seem right to me. Is this a calm before the storm, or am I just freakishly resilient? As for the questions and comments I've received, here are some cliff notes to clarify some things. When I said wife and best friend, I was referring to the 2 roles my wife played in my life. The other guy was not my best friend, or even someone I knew. I didn't get a great look at him, but from the quick glance and seeing his vehicle, I don't feel like this is someone I know. We do not have kids. We were planning to have them soon though. We recently sold our house and were set to move closer to my job in September when the new owners take possession. I am going to thank my neighbor, but I am going to do it subtly like he did for me. A lot of people have been asking me about the signs I mentioned overlooking. Off the top of my head, here are a few. Was texting abnormally late at night. Went for after-work drinks with friends regularly. This was not like her, but I was glad that she was being social. She had yoga once a week but was apparently not paying because one of her coworkers was the instructor and she was helping with setup and cleanup. I also thought she was very inflexible for someone who went to yoga. Unknown caller hangups. We regularly answer each other's phones if we are closer to it. Several times she had an unknown caller who would hang up as soon as I answered. We get a lot of spam calls, but usually it's a telemarketer or a debt collector looking for the previous owner of the number.
Are you ready for the data revolution? Do you have the skills needed to stay ahead? More people than ever are learning data science.
Just let it
Isn't
go.
it time you
I
did
need
too?
to level
Improve
up,
your
please.
data skills with DataCamp.
Is there going to be another
learning for
island or
free
something?
today.
Is there a 7th island?
I am.
Maybe. Hold on. Shit. Then what? Why? Just let it fucking ride. I really just want to like level it up. Like I get like, oh, the player will like just lose interest and all that, but fucking still. When I'm in the mood to grind and level that shit up, just fucking give that to me. It's like I find it more like less playable if I can't progress any farther. That's kind of what killed interest in me in the beginning of playing Genshin Impact. It's like, fuck it. I actually didn't realize there's Archon stories and quests and stuff like that. So it's very ramp up when you're low level.
Charlie D'Amelio from TikTok.
I don't know how
Why is
Charlie
this the thing?
blew up.
They're normal kids. That doesn't change with following.
I have no idea how this is gonna work out.
The number.
So
Rarely
cringe.
it's a hang-up. The update is a work in progress. When my brother arrived we had a good long talk. He has been my true best friend and I realized I need to always remember that and know that he will always be there for me without judgment the same way I would be for him. He really sets the standard for what a true friendship is, even if we fight on occasion. Since I was supposed to be home last night, I decided to respond to my wife's text. We aren't allowed to have phones on site, so it was reasonable for me to only be texting her. She knows it's easy for me to sneak in some texts. I wrote her and said I needed to go to one of my company's remote sites and wouldn't be able to call her until the end of the weekend. I told her that I would cancel all of the reservations and rebook later. She said she could take her best friend with her this weekend to the romantic bed and breakfast on a vineyard that I booked. I knew it wasn't the best friend she wanted me to think would be going. I told her that I already gave it to my brother and his wife since it was non-refundable and they would pay me back in a month. This morning I cancelled all of the reservations except the romantic one. My brother is coming with me. Fortunately, the hotel let us switch from the honeymoon suite to a room with 2 beds. There also happens to be a really nice lake and boat rentals nearby, so this just turned into a long overdue fishing trip with my brother. This means I am free for the weekend. I don't have to write her or talk to her for a few days, so that relieves some stress and gives me more time to think. I am currently in the mindset to get a divorce. I honestly can't see it any other way. My brother is supportive of this, but has asked me to take a few weeks and speak to someone. His wife has a friend who is a couples counselor and is willing to talk to me on Monday. I don't see it changing my mind, but at least it might help untangle some of this mess for me. I am also taking a bunch of the advice on here and starting to speak to lawyers. At the very least to prepare for what I think is inevitable. I want to do this right. I've never thought of her as someone who would try to screw me over, but I also never expected her to cheat, so I think I need to be prepared for anything. A lot has happened in the past few days. I'll start with the less important stuff. My brother, Matt, and I drove nearly 5 hours to the B&B on the vineyard. I really appreciate him being there for me through this. It was more of a venting session than anything, but it really helped clear my head. After spending the better part of the drive whining to him, I just wanted a little alone time while he wanted to go out for dinner. I stayed in the room and he went out to eat and took me back some food. He also managed to rent a boat for the next day. On Saturday we hit the water. The owner of the B&B knew about our plans for fishing and was nice enough to pack us a small cooler of food and drinks. It was their way of making the romantic package more useful for 2 brothers. It was a nice gesture. Fishing wasn't good. We both caught a couple of trout that we had to release due to their size, so the snacks from the B&B worked out great. We stopped fishing at mid-afternoon and then drove around to all of the vineyards and fruit stands buying food and cases of wine for Matt's wife Jen. That night we went for the biggest tomahawk steak we could find. On Sunday we drove back to Matt's place. He lives in the next town over from me, which is about an hour away from my place. When we arrived, Jen was there and we all sat and cracked a bottle of wine we had chilling in the cooler. This is when the weekend officially ended for me. Jen told me that while we were away that she decided to go spy on my wife. She told me that the guy was at my place on Friday night all night, but on Saturday morning she managed to get there just as he was leaving. She followed him home and found the apartment where he lived. My wife stayed over there on Saturday night, the same time she was sending me text messages saying she loves me and misses me. Jen said that she was splitting her time between visiting family who live in my town, and stalking my wife. She said that she happened to catch my wife leaving his apartment on Sunday morning and took a few pics of them hugging and kissing before she got into her car. I don't want to see them. That pretty much sealed the deal for me. I don't think I could ever trust her again if she can turn it on and off so easily to tell me she loves me while being with a different guy.
Yeah, that's a
Still, I decided that I am not going to jump to a knee-jerk reaction based on emotions. I need to remain calm and level. That's when Jen told me that Sharon was coming over for dinner. Sharon is the counselor that Jen set me up with an appointment for. To clarify, she has never met my wife and this was my first time meeting her as well. Sharon was a very nice person and we got along great. After dinner, Sharon and I went for a walk around Matt's neighborhood to walk the dogs and have a bit of a private conversation. Sharon was really helpful in the fact that she was a great listener and made me feel like I didn't need to be guarded. It was therapeutic to be that free with describing my feelings. As much as I am comfortable with my brother, this was just different and very needed. It's the same reason why I like writing this on Reddit. It's a vent session that helps me untangle some of the mess in my head. Our walk lasted an hour and the only real advice that Sharon gave me was to not delay that conversation with my wife. She said that the longer I wait, the harder it will become to talk to her about this. She said I need clarity more than anything at this point, and my wife is the only person that can give that to me. Later that night Jen and Matt offered me to stay with them for as long as necessary. I know that Matt and I have an expiry period for being in close quarters with each other, so I spoke to my boss who was able to set me up in company housing. I've been staying there every second week for a while, but have to leave on days off. He managed to make it work for me to stay full-time for a few months if I needed. I decided to rebook with Sharon for later this week. I figured our walk sufficed for the first session. She agreed. I spent the night on Sunday just laying in bed thinking about how to approach this. I struggled with this because even the imaginary scenario in my head was making me angry or sad. I decided I would just wing it. I'm usually good under pressure. Yesterday I woke up and said my goodbyes to Matt and Jen. I drove towards home and was thinking what if he was there when I arrived. Then I thought that it would likely just put me back in the angry spot I was a few days ago. I decided to do a drive-by first. Neither his truck or my wife's car were there. I went inside and grabbed a bunch of essentials and things I don't want to part with. Mainly just some photos and old family heirlooms. I got them all packed up in my truck and then headed over to the guy's apartment. Her car wasn't there either, but his truck was. I decided to write her to see where she was. She said she was getting groceries. I trust her so little right now that I drove by the grocery store and actually confirmed she was there. I feel so dirty admitting that I did that, but my trust is broken and it's the only way I can be certain of anything. I wrote her again and told her to just come home because we need to talk. She wrote back, "What's wrong?" I just responded and said she needs to be ready to be honest, and then turned my phone off. She got home 15 minutes later. When she came in, she came over to give me a hug and kiss like she does every time. I turned away from her. She asked me again what was wrong, so I told her that she needs to start being honest with me. She played dumb and said she had no idea what I was talking about. I said, "Okay, if you can't be honest then I am leaving." She started panicking at this point and said, "Are you talking about yoga?" I figured it was a start. I asked her what she was talking about, and she told me that she hadn't been going to yoga. Here's a bit of a breakdown of the rest of the conversation. Me: "If you weren't going to yoga, then where were you going?" Her: "I was taking walks to relax because I've been so stressed lately." Me: "Why were you so stressed, and why did you lie to me about what you were doing?" Her: "Preparing for the move has been stressing me out, and I just didn't know how to tell you." Me: "So lying was the decision you made? What was your concern with telling me that you were going for a walk to de-stress?" Her: "I didn't mean to lie. I was worried that my stress would add to your stress." Me: "But I'm not stressed. It really seems like you are not telling me everything." Her: "What do you mean?" Me: "I think that you're lying about more than just skipping yoga. I am asking you again to be honest. You've already lied to me, so this can't work if you keep lying." Her: "I don't know what else to say." "Oh, are you talking about last weekend when I went for drinks with some friends and came home late? I had a feeling that bothered you." I had no clue that she went for drinks, or was out late. I was at work a couple hours away. Me: "Is that what you actually did that night, or was that a lie as well?" Her: "I went for drinks that night, but I didn't see her best friend who she supposedly was with that night." Me: "Who did you see?" Her: "No one. I just drank alone." Me: "You drink alone now?" Her: "Yeah, maybe I have a problem." Me: "Maybe, we'll talk about that later. Last chance, be honest or I'm leaving." Her: I don't know what else to say." Me: "Okay, I'm leaving." At this point I got up and left. Usually when we have an argument I go for a drive to get away from her. She probably thought this was the same. Then she realized I took my clothes and toiletries, as well as the Xbox. That's when she began blowing up my phone. I told her that I gave her a chance to be honest and she didn't, so there's nothing left to say. She begged and pleaded with me to come home to talk about this in person. She said she had no idea why I was so upset or what I think she did. She repeated that she loved me and would never hurt me. Just hearing her say that really tore a new hole in my chest. It was always comforting words that I believed without question. Now it's a dull, jagged knife sawing through my heart in the most devastating way. I couldn't handle it, so I hung up. She called back about 40 times before I was ready to answer again. This time she said, "Did you talk to Karen, her best friend?" I asked why, and she said, "Come home. I don't want to say this over the phone." I agreed and drove around a little longer to get my heart rate back down. Then I went home. That conversation went like this. Her: "I assume you spoke to Karen?" Me: Her: "Well, a few weeks ago while you were at work we went for drinks. A couple of guys started buying us drinks, so we just played along. When we were leaving, one of the guys tried to kiss me. I pulled away immediately and told him I was married. I felt so bad about it and wanted to tell you, but I'm an idiot and just decided to hide it from you. Karen hooked up with the other guy and gave his friend my number without asking me. He has texted me a few times since, but I have never written him back." Me: "Can I see your phone?" Her: "Yes." She showed me her phone, which was completely empty of texts except from myself and her mother. She never deletes her texts, so this was new. I looked at her photos, which was also clean, but then I checked the deleted
Oh my god,
photos
they
and found
finally
one of
added
the guy I didn't
pathways.
recognize.
Oh, thank god, man.
Me:
About
"Who is
time.
this?" Her: "That's the guy who tried to kiss me." Me: "Why did you take a picture of him?" Her, I was just being stupid. Me, that's not a reason. Why did you take a picture of him? Her, I don't know. Me, is that everything you want to tell me, or is there more? Her, that's all I can think of. Once again, I left. I didn't want to be trickle-truthed. I got in my truck and drove away. She ran outside trying to stop me, but I was already out of reach. I went to the park nearby and just sat on my tailgate and ate my lunch trying to figure out what to do next. While there I began remembering other things that I should have been more aware of. Things like, I was working a weekend shift and was in bed early. My wife went out to the club with a few of her girlfriends. I woke up at 4 a.m. and she still wasn't home. I called her a few times, but there was no answer. About 30 minutes later she called me back and asked if I would come and get her. When I picked her up, she told me that they were trying to hail a taxi but had no luck. A couple of guys that her friend knew stopped and offered them a ride, but wanted to stop at home first. When they got to the guy's house, her married friend went into room with one of the guys. My wife said she spent some time looking for her but then eventually gave up and just had a drink in the kitchen with the roommates while she waited. She claims she didn't hear her phone when I tried calling. We fought about this, and she was disgusted by her friend's actions, so she cut that friend out of her life. I thought that was over. Another time she traveled to visit a close friend in a different city. It was a planned girls' night. There were 4 girls all getting drunk and watching movies in their PJs. At least that's what I was told. Then she called me around 1 a.m. to say goodnight. We spoke for about 20 minutes and she repeatedly told me that they were having a great girls' night. Then I heard a guy's voice in the background. I asked who it was, and she denied hearing anything at first. Then it happened again, loudly. She couldn't deny it, so she was like, oh yeah, X took a couple of guys with her. Everyone here is super pissed about it. She was drunk and 3 hours away. She left me no choice but to trust her. Again, we fought about that and why she refused to tell me they were there. She promised never to put herself in that type of situation again. Clearly that didn't stick. After remembering all of those things, and the conversations we had about them, I was ready to give this one last shot. I turned my phone back on and almost immediately it rang. I answered and she was screaming for me to come home. I drove back to the house. I walked inside and was immediately confronted by her bawling her eyes out. She was sitting on the couch repeating, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." I asked her sorry for what? She began rocking back and forth like a crazy person. It took her a good 5 minutes to catch her breath enough to speak. Her, I lied about the guy who tried to kiss me. Me, okay, tell me what happened. Her, the 4 of us actually went back to his place that night. We fooled around. I knew it was more than that, but just hearing her say it made me feel dizzy. It felt like the room was getting smaller and there were a million people speaking into my ears at the same time. I think I was having a panic attack. I went to the bathroom and washed my face in cold water until things returned to normal. Me, what did you do? Her, do you want me to actually tell you? Me, yes. Her, he fingered me and I gave him a blowjob.
Wow.
Me, was that it? Her, yes. Me, I'm not playing this game any longer. You either tell me everything right now, or this will be the last time we speak. She began bawling again and took another few minutes before she was able to speak. Her, we met up again and had sex. I'm so sorry. I love you and will do anything to make up for this. Me, just the one time? Her, if I tell you the truth, please give me a chance to do anything I can to make up for it. Please. Me, I'll think about it. Her, it was an affair. We had been hooking up while you're out of town for work. It's been going on for almost a month now. He is married and they are about to get divorced.
Wow.
Me, does he know you're married? Her, yes. Me, if he's having an affair because his marriage is failing, does that mean you think ours is failing? Is that what you told him? Her, no, I don't think ours is failing. I'm so stupid. I hate myself. Please don't leave me. I can fix this. Me, how? Her, whatever you want. Me, if you were in my shoes, or even his wife's shoes, what would fix this for you?
Have a good
Her,
night.
knowing the
Be
truth,
sure to get
being
enough.
able to trust you to mean what you are saying. You can trust me. I screwed up and won't do that again. Me, if you were his wife, wouldn't you want to know the truth? Her, yes. Me, then fix this. Her, you want me to call her? Me, if you think that is what you would want. She tried calling, but never got an answer. A few minutes later her cell phone rang. It was listed as Karen, work. She looked shocked, so I knew that wasn't Karen. I asked if that was him. She said it was. I answered, and being the coward he is, he said, oops, I must have the wrong number. I said no, this is the husband of the girl you've been cheating with. I'm going to let you speak to her because she has something to say to you. I passed her the phone. I told him everything. He knows the entire truth. We're done. It was just a fling and now you need to never contact me again. I asked to see the phone before she hung up. Me, what divorce lawyer are you using? Kim, I'm not getting divorced. Me, oh, but didn't you tell me, wife, that you were? Kim, no. Me, okay, then can I speak to your wife? I feel she has as much right to know about this as I do. Kim, please man, I didn't know she was married. Don't ruin my marriage over a mistake. Me, you ruined mine over a mistake. It's only fair that I tell your wife. Kim, please don't. She's at work right now. I will tell her everything when she gets home, I swear. Me, okay, you do that. That's where I hung up. I asked my wife if she knew where his wife worked and her name. She did. I had my wife call over and ask for her at work. She did get her on the phone and told her to take a seat. This woman said she was just getting ready to leave for the day and she would call my wife back from her car. She did. His wife, what's going on? My wife, I have something terrible to tell you and I don't want to cause any accidents. Please don't drive. His wife, OMG, did something happen to his name? My wife, no. He's at your apartment right now.
I've been practicing a new song recently, but I'm still trying to iron out a few details. When I repeat the chorus, should I go up a half step? Oh, I can't decide. And I think there's room for improvement with the dance routine, but I'm not sure. If it's no trouble, I'd really appreciate it if you could watch my performance and give me your suggestions. Thank you. Oh, please don't laugh at me if there are parts that still need practicing. Well, I've thought about this a lot of times in the past, but it's taken me this long to finally pluck up the courage to perform for you at such close distance. Oh, if you laughed at me, there'd be nowhere I could run from my embarrassment. Okay. Then, let the show begin.
Bro.
I am just letting you know that we have been having an affair for a month now. I'm coming clean to my husband right now and thought you should be given the same respect. She went silent for about a minute, then said if this is some sick joke, I will find out who you are. Then she hung up. Not even 10 minutes later my wife got a text from Karen, work, saying thanks, you just ruined my life. I grabbed the phone and wrote back, you just ruined 4 lives and 2 marriages, don't forget that this was your fault, you piece of shit. For the next hour my wife begged and pleaded with, don't my life. I grabbed the phone and wrote back, you just ruined 4 lives and 2 marriages. You just ruined my... 10 minutes later my wife got a text from Karen, work, saying thanks, you just ruined my life. I grabbed the phone and wrote back, you just ruined 4 lives and 2 marriages. Don't forget that this was your fault, you piece of shit. For the next hour my wife begged and pleaded with me to stay with her. She offered counseling, she offered to never leave my side, she even offered me sexual favors. This was everything that I expected thanks to the comments in here. She then said we should go on that vacation, her treat. We need time away was her reason. We need to spend some quality time together because my work schedule has been pushing us apart lately. Also exactly what I expected her to say. She wasn't expecting me to tell her that I went anyway. She also wasn't expecting me to tell her that I already have counseling booked for myself. She definitely wasn't expecting me to tell her that I busted her on my very own bed. I could only imagine she didn't expect me to have a place already lined up to stay. When I told her all of that, she fell to the floor bawling. She started saying how she doesn't deserve to live. She told me I should just kill her right now because she's too terrible to be with anyone. It went on like that for a while. I stayed for a total of 4 hours listening to her make excuses, then try to hug me or cuddle me, or even blow me if I would just stay and work through this with her. In the end, I called Karen and told her that her cheating friend is suicidal and that she should come keep an eye on her. Then I left. It's been almost a full day since that went down and I haven't spoken to her since. She has been calling and texting me all day. Her friends and family have been calling and texting me all day. Everyone has a different excuse, or a different plea for empathy. Her father is the only one who wrote me and told me that I need to do what is best for me and that he will always love me like a son no matter what happens. Reading that was what made me have a good cry for the first time since all of this began. I meet with Sharon, my counselor, tomorrow and the lawyer on Thursday. I think I know where this is going, but until it happens I am just not sure about anything. I'm sorry for the overly long-winded story. It just helps to vent in this way. This past week was very eventful. I've been going back and forth between camp and my brother's place. I'm trying to be as little burden on them as possible, so I only stay on nights when I have an early appointment. My company has allowed me to take a few weeks for personal time, which has been an amazing help. I have continued visiting Sharon, the therapist. I've saw her a total of 3 times now. I personally am in a better state of mind than I was last week, so while I don't really think our visits are that productive, I think it's a good chance to clear some thoughts I have in my head. For that reason, I will keep going for now. I spoke with a lawyer last Thursday. With their direction, I made a list of all assets and finances, including debt. I then went to the bank and asked them to put a stop on our accounts that doesn't allow anyone to withdraw money without the other person present. We both have our pay deposited into our personal accounts, so this won't stop either of us from accessing new money, just the old and shared money. The lawyer did suggest that I don't confront her until I serve her the papers, but it's already too late for that. For the duration of the week I was receiving calls and texts pretty much constantly from my wife, her family, and her friends. This past weekend my sister-in-law organized a family get-together at the cabin. I went and had to drop the bombshell on my family. At least it's out in the open now and I can include them in my recovery process. Things were going as great as can be expected until Saturday night. At around 8 p.m. I was sitting around the fire with my brother and dad when my wife's car pulled up. My brother, Matt, told me that he would take care of it. My dad and I decided to go for a walk around the property, out of sight from the driveway. We were barely in the forest when I could hear my wife screaming at my brother to get out of her way. She had a couple of friends with her and they were yelling at Matt as well, telling him to mind his own business. He made a valiant attempt, but ultimately they were too much for him to handle. She got past him and rushed right towards us. She must have seen us head that way. My dad offered to deal with her, but I said I will deal with her. My wife, let's call her Kate for simplicity's sake, came running over to me bawling. She immediately went for the hug, and I didn't stop her, but I didn't hug her back. She begged me to just speak to her. I agreed, and we walked around the property trails to have a little privacy. Kate tells me that the other guy's wife has left him. She told me that he was threatening to commit suicide and blamed it all on her. She claims that she told him to just do it and hasn't spoken to him since. Kate then pulls out a piece of paper and starts listing off ways that she promises to make it up to me. Again, these are all papers that she told him to just do it and hasn't spoken. Commits. Kate tells me that the other guy's wife has left him. She told me that he called threatening to commit suicide and blamed it all on her.
That he called... Oh.
She claims...
I mean, maybe you shouldn't fuck other people. How about you just stick to your wife instead of being a not loyal piece of shit? And blaming her. I mean, granted, both sides are fucking assholes, but... You are also one that cheated. So...
That she told him to just do it and hasn't spoken to him since.
Honestly, I kind of agree.
Pulls out a piece of paper and starts listing off ways that she...
If you blame someone else for ruining your marriage when you are the one who cheated with them, then honestly, you're both fucking cunts. So if you can... I don't know. I'm pretty sure you get what I'm trying to say, so.
Promises to make it up to me. Again, these are all things she offered on the first day. Everything from couples counseling to sexual requests. Then she caught me off guard. She says that she doesn't want to continue living this way. She said that she wants us both to quit our jobs and go live overseas. Start that little beach bar we've always talked about. She said she would leave right now if I would go with her. To put this into context, this past week while trying to envision my life post-divorce, this is the only thing I could think of. I figured a complete restart of everything. I'm already going through the effort of a massive change, may as well add another piece to it and just do exactly what I want. To hear her wanting the exact same thing just made me snap back into that feeling of missing her and wanting to be with her. That was the moment I knew I had to end the conversation. I walked her back to her car where her friends were waiting. I told her that I would be willing to speak on the phone, but couldn't promise anything beyond that. It calmed her enough to leave. We've spoken on the phone each night since, but it's always the same. She cries and begs me for another chance. I get angry at her for what she did and hang up. I'm currently struggling with missing her really bad. She was my best friend for decades, so losing that person to speak to is hard. Realizing that all of the dreams and plans we shared are just thrown away is devastating. I want nothing more to just pack it up and start life over somewhere else. I want that to be with her, but she ruined it. She robbed me at that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to check out the playlist for more videos.
The first rule of the conservatorship was you don't talk about the conservatorship.
Not much was really known about what was going on behind the scenes.
Who cares? Oh yeah. What are... Oh yeah.
I found out my wife was cheating with at least 4 men, and 1 woman. Then she dropped a bombshell that cut to the core. So I thought that I had the perfect life, a little boy running around, a house on a lake, a pretty wife with a great job, and a great job myself. I had the American dream, having served in the Marines and being seriously wounded in combat. One night my little boy curled up next to me in the X, asking for a story to be told to him. I went into the total dad mode, complete with voices, wild hand gestures, and faces that had the little man captivated by what was coming from his dad. I noticed that my ex had been on the phone the whole time, and began to realize that something seemed not quite right. I noticed how angry she had been every time I found her phone, how the grocery store runs, and working late had become a daily routine. That is when she sent my son to bed, and began a tale that would ultimately cut me to the core, and devastate me for years to come. I'm being blackmailed, she seethed through tears. Someone is going to tell you something really bad, but I want you to know that it is not as bad as she is saying it is. I stepped into the bathroom, completely dumbfounded as to what she was possibly talking about. At that exact moment my phone rang, a ringtone that sliced through me like a knife, and was never used on my phone again. Your wife has been sleeping with my husband for at least 4 years, has another boyfriend now, and all of them have had various 3-ways with each other. I soon learned that the vacation she took, to get a break from our very young son, was an excuse to use spring break to hook up with randoms, since her married boyfriend had dumped her. I found out that the work trip was an excuse for her, the girlfriend, and boyfriend, to go to a hotel together for a week. I found out that my son is not in fact my son, which was the most devastating part of the entire ordeal. The boy that I had seen born, the one that I called Little Buddy, the one that mowed the grass with me, worked on the truck with me, the one that was attached to my hip for every second together, was essentially gone. I have moved to another state very far away and spent years trying to piece my life back together, but I can't find myself dating anyone for more than a couple months, and I cannot bring myself to have feelings for anyone. I've tried to talk to the boy that I call my son, but the boy's real dad had the court order me to have no contact. I still see his face when I fall asleep every night, hear his quick and light footsteps pounding down the hall to ask me what we are doing today, and his little voice telling me I love you daddy, you are pretty much the best dad in the world I think. We always have fun, right? Right kid? You are right. Me, 52 male.
Yeah.
Just found out at least 4 of my 5 children, 33 female, 30 female, 28 male, 24 female, 14 female, are not mine. Wife, 51 female, won't say anything. Note: please do not use ancestry kits as a paternity test. If you genuinely want to check your child as your own, get a proper paternity test at your local medical lab. Ancestry tests are not accurate, and should not be used to test paternity. In my case, it simply raised the alarm to get a proper test. I apologize if this is not an appropriate sub to ask. I posted this on r/relationships but it was locked, and the mod suggested I ask on r/parenting. But I also want relationship advice on how to deal with my wife, so I want to ask for advice here, too. First of all, I'm sorry if this ends up being long and rambly. I am not really in the best state of mind. My world has been turned upside down over the last couple of weeks. I just want to write as much context as possible so I can get the best advice needed. For obvious reasons, I am not yet comfortable talking about this with my friends/parents/siblings. Background: I met my wife when we were in high school and we married in college. We have 5 beautiful children together. Really, I consider them a total blessing regardless of what I'm about to bring up, and up until a couple of weeks ago I thought that we had the perfect marriage. We were typical high school sweethearts, we go out together, we never fight. I feel like I've done everything a loving husband should do. I am saying this not to make myself out as the perfect husband. For example, my work has always meant I work long hours and maybe haven't always been there when she needed me, but I want to stress that I've never felt our marriage was in any trouble. And never in a million years would I ever have suspected my wife of being disloyal. She's always done everything she could to support me and take care of our children. Now, my eldest daughter recently had an ancestry test done. And the results of the ancestry test strongly suggested I was not her father. She confided this to me privately, showing me the results, and I could tell she was visibly upset by this. Of course, the first thing I did was reassure her that no matter what, she's my daughter and I'll always love her unconditionally. But secondly, the two of us decided to get an official paternity test since the ancestry tests are not completely reliable. It comes back and I am indeed not her biological father. This news really broke me. I'm ashamed to say I broke down in tears in front of my daughter. The combination of finding out about my wife's infidelity and how upset I was making my daughter by how I was reacting. I really wish I had kept it in for her sake, but I didn't. Following this, I asked my other children, except my youngest, to come and see me. I wanted to know the extent of my wife's infidelity. If it was a one-off, I could maybe work past it, especially given how long ago it would be. However, I didn't want to tell my youngest as she is still in school, a teenager, and really I didn't think it was appropriate to tell her yet. We tell the other 3 what has happened. I reassure them that I love them unconditionally and that I'll always be their dad, but that I need to know how long this has been going on. God, I can't begin to explain how touching their reaction was. They didn't care I wasn't their biological father. They were just upset at how heartbroken I was. I feel like the only thing that has kept me going these last couple of weeks is their unwavering support. So we have paternity tests for each of the 3 done. Not only are none of them my biological children, together 4 of my children have 3 different fathers. Which somehow made it worse. It's like she wasn't just having an ongoing affair. She was having multiple? I can't explain how this makes it worse, but it just does. So I confront my wife with this, expecting her to confess and beg for forgiveness. She doesn't confess. She doesn't even take it seriously. She says the tests must be flawed. All 4? How the hell am I supposed to take that seriously? I keep bringing it up and she keeps brushing it off, getting progressively more annoyed at me. When I bring it up, she will try and guilt trip me. We've been together since high school. Do you seriously not trust me, etc.? But how am I supposed to trust her in the face of such overwhelming evidence? Now that I have rambled and explained what has happened, I guess let me ask a few direct questions for advice. How can I reassure my children this doesn't change anything between us? I feel like the way I have reacted, total breakdowns, has made them second guess this despite however many times I reassure them. How do I handle my youngest daughter? I feel like our marriage is beyond saving and I will need to tell my daughter something. I don't want her to know the truth until she's older, but I also don't want my wife lying and making me out to be the villain. Is there any way at all, you think I could or should save my marriage? I've been with my wife my entire life. It's almost impossible to see a life without her. I know that the answer should be a clear-cut leave her, but we have 5 kids together. If there's anything that can be done to save our marriage, I want to consider it seriously. TLDR. Found out at least 4 of my 5 kids are not mine. Wife refuses to confess her infidelity. Unsure of how to do what's best for my children and marriage. Edit. Thanks so much to everyone for all the support and advice. I have not replied to as many comments as I should have, but I've read each and every one and taken your advice to heart. I'll continue reading any comments or messages you send me. Again, I can't begin to thank you for all your support. If this is resolved, I might post an update, but if she continues to lie, then I don't think I'll bother, as there's not much more I can add. From the advice in this and the r/parenting thread, I've decided to get second tests just in case some freak accident has occurred. Confront my wife with all 4 of my older children present. Tell my youngest of the situation. Ask her if she wants to have a paternity test. It will be entirely her decision. I'm 100% going to get some form of therapy. My mental state has really been deteriorating over the last couple of weeks, and I owe it to my kids to hold it together.
More speed.
Depending on whether my wife tells the truth, and what her explanation is, if any, I have not ruled out some form of counseling. But at the moment I think divorce is inevitable unless she changes her attitude drastically. Contact a lawyer and prepare for divorce, if it comes to that. Once again, I'd like to thank all of you for the time you took to express your support and share advice. Edit 2. I guess I should clarify some things that people have been asking. How did the ancestry results suggest I wasn't her father? My family is entirely Irish. No relatives outside of Ireland other than my immediate family, and I even have the stereotypical red hair. My daughter's ancestry results showed nothing from the British Isles / Western Europe / Northern Europe. That's what set off alarm bells, but it's by no means conclusive, hence the paternity tests. Which 2 children share the same father? My 2 eldest daughters share the same father. How did your wife conceive your children? Our eldest daughter was not planned. All the others were planned. Each time we conceived several months after we started trying. Our first 3 planned children were both our ideas, while she pressured me into having our youngest. She was in her late 30s and wanted one last child before it was too late, and eventually I agreed. She was conceived several months after we started trying too. Are you infertile? I don't know. I've never had a fertility test done. But the fact that none of our planned children are mine makes me think that I might be. I will have a fertility test as soon as possible. Final update. I have been debating whether or not to post an update, because nothing was ever resolved. I decided I would post it here in case anyone is still waiting for one.
That one really fucking blends in.
I apologize for not updating early when I promised I would.
It's actually kind of throwing me off.
My kids and I confronted their mother shortly after making that Reddit post. It really didn't go well. I think the prospect that no one believed her finally hit home, because she completely broke down and apologized profusely, but refused to explain herself or anything that would give me peace of mind. For the next few weeks we barely said a word to each other. I was hoping she was thinking it over, and I expected her to eventually sit me down and explain herself. I figured she was so far deep in a lie that got out of control. She needed time to think things over.
That's annoying.
Nope. I came home one evening to find she had committed suicide by overdosing. So I lost the love of my life, and I'll never know what mistakes she had made. I really wish I could go back in time and forget about it all. Whatever mistakes she made, I honestly wanted to work through it, and now I'm just riddled with guilt that I pressed her for an answer. The worst part of this entire ordeal was watching my kids work so hard to keep me together, after having lost their mother. Anyway, please tell your family you love them while you have the chance. Am I wrong for leaving my 3-year-old son after finding out he isn't mine and my wife cheated on me? I don't want to go into detail because I am still not divorced legally. Separated. Long story short, I found out that my child, or so I thought, was not actually mine. My wife cheated on me with her ex. I found out through text messages. She had been cheating on me on and off throughout our marriage. Found out too, my wife never loved me. She only married me because she was in her 30s and I was a responsible guy that would make a good father. After finding out, I was devastated. I have always wanted to be a family man, and hearing this crushed me. I have met her ex in person before too. And finding out my son would grow up to look like him, well, that was too much. I decided to break things off completely with my ex. I don't want to raise another man's kid. And I want to be able to start a new relationship and have children of my own. However, even my parents are saying I am in the wrong, that I should not turn my back on my son. I don't agree, it hurts, but I think in 5 years I would have made the right choice. I, 36 male, Just found out my son, 10 male, is not actually mine. Should I tell him? Not much to say. My wife and I are getting divorced because of her infidelity, and last month she threw it in my face she had been having an affair during our engagement and for the first year of our marriage, not the guy she is leaving me for. I got a DNA test kit from a drugstore and sure enough my son is not actually biologically mine. I am completely destroyed, but I want to do what's right with my boy. He's still my son as far as I'm concerned, even if we aren't blood relatives. I've raised him for 10 years. His bio dad is long gone by the way, and there is no hope of finding him, according to my soon-to-be ex. My dilemma is, should I tell my son? And if so, how old should he be and what not? I feel like he might want to know for medical history, although I'm not sure what good that would do if his bio father is long gone. I know he doesn't know now. My ex's only motivation for saying what she did was to cut me deep, and she succeeded. But I want to know what's the best course of action for my boy. TL.DR. My son isn't actually mine biologically, and I don't know if I should tell him or how long I should wait to do so. Edit. A few points to clear up. Yes, the test is valid. You purchase it at a drugstore, but you have to submit the results to an official lab and it costs a couple $100. Second, I am not abandoning my son. I love him and I refuse to be without him and will gladly pay any child support required. Even if I wanted to back out of this situation, my attorney has told me that because my name is on the birth certificate, my child was born into my marriage and it's been more than 2 years since he was born, I cannot contest and refuse child support even with a DNA test as proof. Luckily my ex is making this somewhat easy. She and her new boyfriend don't really want a kid around getting in the way of their new romance. We are going through the divorce paperwork and I'm willing to let her out of paying child support if she gives me primary and majority custody. She seems eager to latch on to that. I don't care if I miss out on a few hundred a month if it means my son doesn't have to be around her and the new boyfriend too much and he leaves mostly with me. I cannot tell him now. He's torn up about this divorce and he knows his mom cheated and is leaving for another man. He doesn't really want to leave with her right now anyway. It's not set in stone yet. We are still in the middle of all the divorce paperwork and it's going to take a while to divide up everything. Update. I've got my son set up with a therapist for his first counseling session next week. I've informed the therapist about the situation so he can give me appropriate advice and feedback. I am leaning towards telling my son, but not right now. Maybe in a few years. I'd much rather he find out from me than someone else. But I'll stick with what his therapist tells me is best for him. My ex has known all this time he was not mine, but she doesn't know I did the test and I have no intention of informing her.
There's no way
I've just told her I don't care if he's mine biologically or not
alone,
which is both confusing and infuriating for her because I know she wanted to cause me pain and I've been hiding it well. I don't think she will say anything to our son. In her own weird way, she does love him and has only been purposely aggressive and hostile with me throughout our relationship, never our son. She's just very neglectful with him and is kind of like a kid with a puppy. She thinks he's cute and she does take care of him, when she feels like it and as long as it doesn't inconvenience her. But right now she's just too busy porking another guy to pay attention to him. And yes, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't just a little bitter right now. I just want to be rid of her by this point and for her to leave me and my son alone. Her giving me majority custody in return for me not pursuing child support is worth just getting the custody issue over and done with so I can cut her out of my life as much as I can.
Oh, what is it this time? Oh, dumbass fucking...
Students with ADHD save 10 hours reading articles with this Chrome extension, but no, by all means.
My mom had me and my two brothers when our dad died. She ended up with this guy Mark, who she later married. He had 2 kids and pretty much from the time they got engaged Mark's kids were put before us. My mom always said they had no mom and needed her. But she seemed to forget we had no dad, and then kinda no mom, because she was always so busy with them. She told my older brother at one point that the kids needed to know she loved and wanted them as her kids. He asked what about us, and she said we knew she loved us.
I get it now. I get it. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. Jesus Christ, it took me so long to figure that out. I'm so dumb. Oh, I get it. Hey, collector's items though. Look at that. Hey, what? How do I get that? I'm gonna spend it. See what I get. Hopefully it's Jean, because that'll be epic. Not Jean, fuck. Cool. Same weapon, as always. Did they remove her? Because I haven't even seen a glimpse of her ever. Okay, oh, she's there, apparently. So I have her, Diluc and Mona. I don't have Kaching or Jean. So, that's a bit of a ball kicker. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna try to like spend majority of my time aiming for you know what, hold on. I just want Jean. After I do a roll, I'll just end the thing. Just for the sake of humor, I'm just gonna put some money and buy some promo gems. Fuck it. I'm not too sure if I even have it in PayPal. I can't remember. Shop. Let's get a $10 bundle. Oh, I forgot I even had that much. PayPal. Huh? What do you mean? Good. Guess I'll use my phone then. Is this new or something? Is the problem? Maybe what's happening? Is this a PayPal thing or what? Huh? Okay. Okay, good. All right. Just needed... Oh, I don't even have it, so it doesn't even matter. Let me just add it real quick. There was... What the fuck is the problem? Why did it kick me out? Let me fucking later. Jesus Christ. Just let me... Done. Okay. Oh, now I know my password, or my new one. Let me just... Okay. Okay, I don't know why it needs my phone number again. Huge. Alright, let's make... I mean, I only have $10 on the gift card, so, I mean, I'm just gonna use it up. There you go. Okay, thank God I don't have my PayPal thing open. That'd be kind of spooky. Alright. Now let's just... There you go. Now you see. Okay. Ooh, I'm not too sure. What would... I'm trying to remember how much it would be for... That would, like, equal... Okay, yeah, I think, you know, fuck it, max. See what happens. Huge, let's go. Alright, well, let's fucking wish. Please, Gene, please. God damn it. This game fucking hates me. Dude, I already... Wow, that's so unimportant to me. Incredible. I could probably grab a... I'm still waiting for that Kitsune character to come out, so I'll be continue to save up for that, I guess. I guess I'll just... Where's that character? There he is. I pretty much got this whole area covered. I just need to do these 2 rooms that are like super challenging. There's one on the surface where it's like this little arena thing, and it's fucking, it's cancer. It's like I think it's like you have a minute and 30 to kill 3 characters or 3 mechanical bosses. But the fucking thing is they're super far away, so it's like you can't really do AoE attacks, AoE damage, to get them like super low at the same time. You have to like sprint around the whole fucking circle, or whatever. It's like you have to find a way to group them up, but there's no way. There's no character that pushes them together. And some of them just fucking wander out of the fucking arena, just for the hell of it. I'll show you.
Time to scout.
I think it's a minute 30. It might be just a minute. Either way, it's fucking super short. Oh, not even a minute. 50 seconds. Like the thing, like these little circles of death aren't helping either.
Rack and ruin.
Like, I'm not trying to die.
There is no escape. Motion to compel.
Like, and they separate. Like, if any of you want, like, any one of you want to help me out with this, I'd be super grateful.
Boom! The odds are against us. Illusion shattered.
So it's like you have to dodge the circles of death, and it's super fucking annoying. So like that pushes you away. Not to mention, like, it's just a huge brain fuck. I'm more exhausted. Well, I think I'm gonna end the video right here. So later, guys.